So up next, oh boy, this is a fun one.
This is
Hmm.
a fascinating
What you
one.
got? What you got?
Oh,
Fast and
well,
Furious.
So let me preface this. So there's an official Star Trek magazine, which has been going on in some incarnation for the past 30 years, since 1994.
Mhm.
And one
good
really great
year.
place to hear about all of the backstory is Larry Nemechek's Trekland on YouTube. He just did like an in-depth deep dive of it and like the history this afternoon, because it is like fascinating history where like it's one of the things in like the golden era of Star Trek where fans who were fans from TOS sort of got to work in the industry, which was like adjacent to the actual studio. And like at one point there was like an office on the Paramount lot where they were working on this. You could get
Cool.
licensed to actually be able to talk about official Star Trek behind the scenes things. And at one point it was every month. And then like right now it's quarterly. And in this incarnation, instead of being like Star Trek Communicator, official Star Trek magazine, Star Trek Explorer. So anyway, it's been going for 30 years, and they just announced Trek Central broke the news yesterday, and then actual Star Trek Explorer emailed all of us subscribers today.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
the last edition has been announced, which is kind of a dark day because everybody's like, "Well, it's amazing it went on this long because like print media is dead," and like but at the same point, it's since I subscribed last year, it's like so fun and just like I actually get excited to check my mail. And
Hmm.
it's so
Hmm.
nostalgic, like smelling the magazine. And
Hmm.
it's also a way where like you get to feel really special. Like I got in my name's in last one. And it's just like 10-year-old me looking in the 1994 early editions, I would never have been like, I'll never make it into the magazine. Like it's just
Hmm.
it's exciting. And Lisa Herrera has a column every quarter on a Trek
Yeah.
fan. And it's just like it's really special. And I personally feel like if it goes to digital, then it's just like in the digital landscape of a million other things where this was like
Totally.
being
So
able to
easy to get
hold it
lost.
is
Yeah.
so special. And
Hmm.
it gave a lot of people who were sort of like will work in different parts of Star Trek in the franchise. It gave them like stable income. Like
Yeah.
I loved it for a million reasons, and I think this is a huge loss, and I'm really
Hmm.
sensitive.
Name 400,000.
Well, and it gave different sources for Star Trek content. It wasn't just
Yeah.
one source for, I mean, as far as articles go, there are different, like Lisa Herrera, as Anne Marie mentioned,
Yeah.
and like Larry Nemechek. But then there's also contributing writers who write Star
Like
Trek
short
stories.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is sad that it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
And it was just really, it was also because it's official. Like occasionally they throw in like official pictures you've never seen before. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that like the content that was always like top story or whatever. Yeah, it's like kind of about, I mean, I'm not like bashing it. It's maybe a little outdated by the time it comes out in the magazine, but that's
Hmm.
not why I buy it. I buy it for like all the other reasons, and it does like make the fandom part of the franchise feel more official by like
Hmm.
Yeah.
moving to the magazine.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge, huge loss.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And I wish it had been like promoted more.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
even. I think the cover of the magazine says like 9.99 American dollars, but I know for four
Wow.
I got like a deal last Black Friday that was like $24 for four, and it's the
Hmm.
most worth it thing ever.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
we start with the tweet that like broke the news.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, and also it kind of ties all of Star Trek and includes all of Star Trek because it highlights legacy Trek as well as new Trek.
Yeah.
And like one issue had the coverage on Worf's brother. And
Right.
yeah, and so there's all those kind of articles as well, which is kind of nice because you don't really get that in one place in, like Anne Marie said, in a tangible source,
Hmm.
a tangible magazine.
Oh yeah, and no freaking pop-up ads. And
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like
exactly.
it's just so special. And also like
Yeah.
seeing pictures when they would include pictures of like fan events or fan like
Hmm.
fans at a premiere. It just it made it feel very special. Like this is
Yeah.
a franchise that's very inclusive, and it shows that it was sort of like kicked off back in 1994 by people who loved it
Yeah.
and were really involved in fandom, like Dan Matson and people like
Yeah.
that. So it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Like getting those
very upsetting.
communicator issues in the 90s. I mean, for me, living in Nova Scotia, like that
Yeah.
was my lifeline. You know, it was that and TV Guide. That was it, right? And but it was
Right.
like it would show up in the mail every month at that point, and it was like I mean, I used to just pore over it, and then I would cut them up and put them all over my walls, like,
Yeah,
but that was my connection
That's
to
so
like the
cute.
fandom, and yeah, like,
I'd
oh,
read it at Walden Books or at Barnes and Noble because I didn't have
mm,
a, my parents would
Oh,
never buy it. And like,
yeah,
it's just, it's so sad this is going away. And like, I was
yeah,
looking, I did some stalking of it, and like, I know that their Facebook account has like 12,000 followers, and compared to some of the other magazines that Titan Books runs, like Star
yeah.
Wars, which has like 150,000, like, I get it, it's
wow.
smaller, but like, it's just sad.
So
Mm,
And it's only
special.
40 a year. Like, is there? I don't know.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
shocked that there's. It's just surprising.
yeah.
Kind of took my breath away that we're losing it.
Mm,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a bummer because, like, there's, as you said, if it does go online, then everything's online.
mhm.
It's just going to get lost. It's going to get so lost in the avalanche, in the deluge of online Star Trek content,
Mhm.
besides this one, uh, besides what we're doing. But it really makes you feel a little nostalgic for those good old days. I remember
Oh man, yeah.
personally, I maybe had a total of two of those magazines because you don't really have all the money for that kind of stuff, but you'd
Mhm.
see these magazines and you're like, there's an entire magazine devoted to Star Trek.
Yeah.
What a luxury.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I think I remember, I think that's where I first read about Voyager before it came out,
Mhm.
and where I
Mm.
first read about Enterprise before it came out. That's how you would find out about the new
Yeah.
show. It's like,
That's
here's
how I
the
Oh,
found
new
and
out about
by the
show.
way,
DS9.
Here's the
Yeah.
new cast. They'd have like a spread of like the new cast, and you'd like
Mhm.
look over, okay, there's a Tom Paris character, there's a whatever character.
there's a Dr.
And
Zimmerman.
Ned didn't say
Famous.
that.
It
It
did.
did in TV
Famously, it
Guide.
did.
Yeah.
Did it? Oh, I didn't see TV
Yes.
Yeah.
Guide.
It was like put out before they changed it. It was
Got it
amazing.
here
But
somewhere.
Wow.
I
You
mean,
have
like
a
even
TV
in
guide.
July,
Yeah,
that
TV
was
Guide.
that was like the iconic TV guide. I remember
Yeah.
like I got it and I was reading it before a tennis lesson one summer. Oh my god, it was so good. And I was like, ooh, Balana Torres sounds cool.
Exotic.
She might be mean because she's half Klingon. But
Yeah.
nobody has as good a hair as Deanna Troy, but I'll still watch it.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
uh,
Yeah, that
that
it
Oh
and then
says
my
I had like
gosh.
Picardo will play Dr. Zimmerman. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
exactly.
And how
It was
amazing
epic.
is it that we get that now for Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, and
Right?
Robert Ricardo will be
Yeah.
playing Dr. Zimmerman. I don't know.
The
Yeah.
other thing about like
Half
Explore
an hour.
is like
Mind
in
blowing.
even in July they had Walter write a short story, like a fiction short
Yeah.
story for the magazine, and it's like, what other franchise is having like their actors from 1960s writing who love to write sci-fi short
That's
stories for it?
crazy.
Like
That's
it
so
just
cool.
nothing tied the whole franchise together better than this magazine. I'm just
Mhm.
Yeah,
and it was
I
like done
agree.
with so much love. And
Mhm.
all the ads were actually like really good things to know. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this Star Trek book is coming out. Oh, this is coming out. Like,
Yeah,
it's just, it is such a loss. I'm really sad about this.
yeah.
So, basically, like the thing behind us is going to be the the final cover for, I guess, episode like our issue 14, which they're saying will come out in December, but there's confusion about like, is there a delay or not?
Mm. Hmm.
Hmm.
So there's a poll in the live chat here, everybody. Question is, what are you more nostalgic for? When Star Trek Explorer was new or the first day of Discovery? Because you
Oh,
remember those days of Star Trek Explorer and It's got the magazine and the wonderment and the wow, you know. But then you also remember 2017 when Discovery was new and you're gathering up your friends and you're like, yay, Star Trek is back. Sneaking in some thumbs up there, Jenny. And then she's like,
Yours happened so quick.
So that's the poll, everybody. It's a toughie for me, but I think I know my answer. I think my answer is A, that Discovery party was a great time and I miss it. But I don't miss it more than the 90s. The 90s were
Well,
a
and it
rager, man.
wasn't, well, it's a
Woo!
misleading
Get the
question because
90s
it was
back,
not,
baby.
it was not always called Star Trek Explorer, but I get what I get
What
what
was
you
it
mean.
called?
Well, it was
was
like the
it was
official Star Trek magazine and the Communicator.
yeah, it was the official
Communicator
fan
is
club
what I remember,
magazine,
yeah.
and then it was Communicator, yeah.
And then why did they change it to Explorer from Communicator?
Well, I think it took a little bit of a hiatus, and then when I
Mm.
mean, I have to go back. I got a call during Larry's like amazingly detailed history synopsis, but like at some point, maybe after Enterprise or something, even though a JJ movie was coming, it was like put on hold. It
Because I
was
remember
sort
it
of
being
like it had a
Communicator for
similar
a
thing.
long time,
Yeah.
I thought.
Yes, it had a similar like weird history, like Star Trek.com. But unlike Star Trek.com, it did kind of get brought back by the same people and not like an overhaul
Yeah.
of and now a weird website. Like this was
Yeah.
super.
Man, I remember like so this started in 94.
Yes.
And so like the
And Larry got
mid to
involved in
late 90s, I
97,
remember my
think.
favorite memory of that time was learning to walk, you know, being an
Learning how to
infant.
walk drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, drunk.
1994, yeah.
Actually, yeah, 94
exactly
was
right. Yeah.
So if you go to Facebook Messenger, I sent you two screenshots, which was the email that Star Trek Explorer sent the subscribers, and there's some hilarious
Oh, I've
parts to
already got it.
Although it's bittersweet.
You already emailed it to me. I'll use
No,
that.
no.
No, no, no.
Good one. Hilarious. I don't want everyone knowing my Star Trek Explorer ID numbers.
It says, okay, I'll pull it up here.
Okay. I mean, it's so sad, but then there's also a classically ridiculous thing that Star Trek fans have to deal with thing in it.
It says, you read it on your phone. Dear Anne Marie, we regret to tell you that Star Trek Explorer number 14. How is it number 4? Oh, because it was rebranded as Explorer. Okay.
Yeah.
On sale December 2024 will be the last issue of the magazine. We're all going to buy it. It's been an incredible nearly 20-year journey, and we're so happy to have been able to share it with you. So what happens next? If you still have issues left on your subscription, you have the following options. You can move your subscription over to Star Wars Insider magazines. Hey, all right. For example, if you have 2 issues left on your Star Trek Explorer magazine, you will receive the next 2 issues of Star Wars Insider. They need a.
I mean, we don't have to go on, but I'm like, way to fucking rub it in, guys.
They gotta. That just makes me think like they should have a better name than Explorer and Insider. You know what I mean? Explorer kind of works because Star Trek, they're explorers.
Yeah.
But Star Wars Insider, they should call it like the Star Wars, Order 66 or
Exactly.
You know what?
like
What I would love to know is how many people roll it over to Star Wars.
I would. I mean, what other options are there? I mean,
refund.
Get your money back.
Oh, nah, whatever.
I have to figure out
like
where my
work.
subscription is. How many issues I have left.
But I really think that they should be like, if you have 2 issues left, you could get 4 of the next one to make it up to you, you know?
Yeah.
Or you can just get your money
point.
back.
Yeah, that too.
But they're also always delayed, so I'm also confused. Like, do I have 1 or 2 left?
You know what they should do? And they still have time? They should create a Star Trek Explorer t-shirt, commemorative t-shirt.
Yes.
And say, if you have 2 issues left, you can choose to get this t-shirt instead.
Yeah.
Right, or just
that would be
have
awesome.
it for sale because I would just buy it.
Well, you could buy it, or you could just do that.
what I do wish is that this had been announced and there was a window where like if enough people enrolled, they would go ahead and keep it.
Mm. Yeah.
We need to fly a
So
plane.
fly a plane out here to get something renewed.
On the Starship Communicator.
But to follow this bad news is to happy things, which are two different ways you can get into the final edition. Which I just have to say from personal experience, it was a highlight of my year seeing my name in print because I asked Larry a question that got taken into the magazine, and like after being a huge fan of it and thinking it's the coolest thing for 3 decades, I would encourage people to try and also to be like, I'm in the last issue. That's pretty amazing.
One Trek fan says that she'll pass it on to the editor too, because she'd love a t-shirt as well.
Yeah,
please
right?
do. I think that's a really great idea.
Also, their font is great. I would totally buy a t-shirt.
Are they planning on becoming something online or rebranding or what? Because
nothing. It seems like it hasn't been addressed at all. I mean, I just don't think Titan Books is interested in it. And then Star Trek has StarTrek.com if they want to use it.
Right.
It's such a they don't get the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it hasn't been, I don't think it's been advertised enough. Like,
well, Anne-Marie, I think what they don't get, what they do get is the financial aspect. I'm assuming,
yes, but I'm saying like they just didn't
that it's just that
enough.
nobody's buying it anymore, and they've just given up on trying to beat a dead horse. And they're like, okay, fine, we're not going to do it anymore. And then everybody's like, well, no, don't leave. Like Toys R Us. They're like, you haven't been here for 15 years. We have to close our doors. Don't, but we like to know that you exist.
Exactly. Well, first of all, like Blockbuster.
Yeah, like Blockbuster. Just stay open. I won't go, but stay open.
I want to. No. At this point, I would go to a Blockbuster.
I'll go there and buy some Hoobers.
I have to say, like, suddenly this episode that just came out, they're like letting a couple news outlets give a little sneak peek of things that are inside it. I just feel like that's what it needed this whole time, because that VFX magazine that Star Trek's always putting exclusives in, they promote a lot and they drop little like teasers and news outlets. I just feel like it needed more of that. Or maybe like because I got it on the Black Friday deal, which was a great deal. Like more stuff like that, or like here's how you get a free issue, things like that kind of help.
Yeah. They should also combine, because I'm trying to think, like, this is increasingly a digital world, right? So how do they keep up with that and stay in, like, keep things tangible and then stay in actual things? Well, they should partner up with like conventions, have.
Yeah, obviously that was my thought, but then the issue is
the issue is
the license crap. But like obviously that was my initial thought when I first got it. Like this is the way to announce like specific like things about conventions and roll it out.
They could be handing out or including the magazine at conventions. Right. Like because that's where people are getting physical items. This is where people buy physical items. And then you go, here's a magazine, or the magazine sale. There's a Star Trek Explorer table, like at any convention. I mean, there's got to be something there, but they know better than I. I'm sure they've been doing it 30 years.
Well, and I had actually like contacted them when we were doing VTCs and like no response ever.
Well, but you had to mail it, Anne-Marie. They're all physical. You had to write out a letter.
It's just those
fold it, put a stamp in the envelope on the envelope, and like you write an address or something. I don't remember.
And it's been like Christmas opening it and like seeing like what? I didn't know One Trek Fan has a whole page column every month, or like, oh my god, I didn't know this person is a short story. Like I hate checking my mail because it's all like garbage. But
it is. It's all garbage.
Oh my gosh.
I mail you my garbage.
So fun.
You're gonna get a bunch of See's candy wrappers next week.
Thanks for watching that clip. You can find us on the main viewer live every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern to talk about all of the week's Star Trek news.